A month ago, I tried out both Rocket Racing as well as Lego Fortnite. And apparently, Lego Fortnite will be getting more content, hopefully, because its numbers have gone down. I haven't played it in a quick minute, but I look forward to going back to Lego Fortnite once there's more in there to do, especially vehicles. Speaking of vehicles, I wasn't exactly kind to the launch of Rocket Racing. I realized it was on launch day, and I felt like it was time to revisit Rocket Racing along with some friends, including my fiance Riley Blackfox. So over the past few days, we've been jumping into Rocket Racing, doing some racing. We also did some during her live stream the other night, and I think it's only fair to go back and check out how Rocket Racing is doing post-launch a month later. Now, there is good news to report. There's also bad news and some things I think they need to do for Rocket Racing. The good news is you're actually able to race now, so that's great. Instead of the loading screen errors that I kept getting, I was able to race with my friends, and we did so several times off-stream and on-stream. The race kart mode is pretty decent when it comes to Rocket Racing. It's not too difficult to get better at. The drifting is fun, the boosting, the timing, the jumping, all that you can get better at. It's not an impossible game mode to play. It's not like trying to play, for example, Gran Turismo or Forza. Those racing games, a little bit more challenging. So if you just want a casual, fun racing game, racing kart style, similar to, I guess, Mario Kart, but without the turtle shells and the bananas, then Rocket Racing might be for you. Another thing that I'm happy to report about is Epic listened to players' complaints about the prices and did lower them for the vehicles. These were a bit higher on launch, so the Jaeger is now only 1,500 V-Bucks. The Cyclone is also 1,500 V-Bucks. Still kind of pricey, but you can use these cars for both Rocket Racing as well as Battle Royale mode, either build or zero build. And you can also use them in Rocket League. Another positive from Rocket Racing is every time you accomplish challenges and you earn XP, that XP obviously goes towards the Battle Pass. But there needs to be more rewards that you can also unlock besides simply getting XP. I know that there's 2 rewards at the moment, a character you can get by reaching gold rank in Rocket Racing, as well as the Rocket Racing back bling. But what I'm talking about is setting like rewards based on how many races you actually do. The ability to unlock new vehicles, decals, wheels, etc. At the moment in Rocket Racing, the player count is just 20,000, which is relatively disappointing, but it is higher than Festival at the moment, which only has just over 16,000. But apparently they're going to start adding new music to Festival, I believe, starting on Thursdays. So I think every Thursday there'll be new music for players who enjoy Festival, like Riley, our friend Bounty Hunter, and a few other Festival fans as well. But Epic needs to do a lot to increase the player count of Rocket Racing. And one of the things that they need to work on is everything, basically. So we only have access to a few vehicles in Rocket Racing if you have not purchased any of the vehicles. Like we talked about a moment ago, the Jaeger, the Cyclone, the Diesel was in the shop earlier. The Lambo was in there. It was like $35. Some people bought it. It's your money. Spend it how you wish. But at the moment, if all you have in the game is these 2 vehicles, the Octane and the Scorpion from the Battle Pass, it seems pretty limiting when it comes to vehicle options. I realize all the vehicles have the same stats and the same abilities. None's better than the other. It's just cosmetic, but you know, it's just like Fortnite, right? People want to have different skins. The same goes for Rocket Racing. There really isn't many decals to choose from, and the problem is half the decals I have, I could only use for the Octane, not the Scorpion, and vice versa. So it would be nice if all the decals could be used across all vehicles in Rocket Racing. And when it comes to wheels, I have a whopping 1 wheel to customize my vehicles in Rocket Racing. Another issue that quickly came up while we were playing Rocket Racing was the fact that it seemed like the same map or two kept popping up over and over and over again. That's something that Epic needs to improve. They need to do a better job with rotating the maps and adding additional racetracks to the game. I would also say maybe different times of day, like a daytime map. I think most of them are during the daytime, but nighttime versions would be cool. Hopefully we'll see more racetracks being created by the creator community. I'm sure they got some great, wild, crazy ideas that would make for some phenomenal racing in Rocket Racing as well. So those are two big things that needs to happen, improving the rotation of the tracks as well as more racetracks for players to enjoy in Rocket Racing. But I'm not quite done yet because I think that we need a lot more options and customization in Rocket League, especially since Epic is going through the effort of connecting Rocket League to Rocket Racing and encouraging players to play both modes, the standalone Rocket League game as well as the racing kart Rocket Racing in Fortnite. So a lot more stuff needs to be ported over from Rocket League to Rocket Racing. Prime example, vehicles. We don't really have that many vehicles, and most of the vehicles right now in Rocket Racing are ones that you have to purchase through the item shop. Epic needs to add way more vehicles from Rocket League to Rocket Racing. At the moment, I have 37 vehicles collected. A lot of them are just variants of the same vehicle from previous Rocket Passes, but there are obviously a few vehicles I personally wish I had in Rocket Racing, like this sweet car. There's also licensed vehicles. I think the licensed vehicles might be a bit more challenging, but it's the same thing with the Lamborghini. If people already own it in Rocket League, they should be able to use it in Rocket Racing, but for anyone else that doesn't own the licensed vehicles, they should be available for people to purchase in the item shops. But yeah, a lot of vehicles are in Rocket League that need to be ported over to Rocket Racing, especially vehicles that are already in our garages. It would be another way for Epic to reward players that play both Rocket League as well as Rocket Racing. Decals. We definitely need more decals added to Rocket Racing, and I have over 200 decals at the moment in Rocket League, and most of them obviously I don't use. Some of them are variations of the same decal, but yeah, more decals ported over from Rocket League to Rocket Racing. I think the problem is there are just unique decals for unique vehicles, but even if that's the case, we do need more unique decals per vehicle. So more decals from Rocket League to Rocket Racing is something a lot of players would very much appreciate. Along with wheels, we don't have enough wheels clearly in Rocket Racing. I know the wheels don't do anything, they're just cosmetic, just like the vehicles, but players want more wheel options. And at the moment, I have, 74 in my inventory in Rocket League. I know not all these will get ported over, just like not all the licensed vehicles or unlicensed vehicles or decals, etc. But more needs to be ported over from Rocket League to Rocket Racing, including a variety of wheel options. So if you've already gotten some vehicle wheels in Rocket League, then I think some of these should be ported over to Rocket Racing. Now here's a few things that have yet to be included as customization options for our Rocket Racing vehicles that I think need to be added. Rocket boosts. You have the ability to boost in Rocket Racing. It would be awesome if we could also customize our boosts. And at the moment I have 67 boosts collected in Rocket League. I wouldn't mind having some of these ported over from Rocket League to Rocket Racing so I could have additional customization along with the toppers. Not everybody likes toppers. I'm not really a topper fan on my vehicles, but some people are. It would just be one more way to customize your vehicle in Rocket Racing. At the moment, I have 100 toppers collected, and I'm sure plenty of people have way more. And just like with everything else we're talking about, a lot of these should be ported over from, once again, Rocket League to Rocket Racing. Next is antennas. I do like the antenna flags. I have pirate flags on my vehicles because I'm hoisting the Jolly Roger. So I think that there's a lot of official country flags and like fictional flags and creator flags and other types of antennas, like antenna balls, like an 8-ball, that should be also ported over from Rocket League to Rocket Racing, so that you can have, yes, once again, even more customization options for our vehicles. So absolutely would love to see a lot more options, toppers and flags for vehicles in Rocket Racing, ported over once more from Rocket League. And finally, trails. I don't have that many trails, but I think this would be another way to customize our vehicles in Rocket Racing, is for you to have trail options in the customization for Rocket Racing vehicles. Am I enjoying Rocket Racing more now than I was on launch day? Absolutely. It's nice to actually be able to get into some races, especially with friends, even if I am racing badly. Just like one of my long-running series on my channel, I still enjoy racing, whether it's in GTA Online, Forza Motorsport, or in Rocket Racing. And I like playing with my friends in party chat, as we're all just talking about random nonsense and trash talking each other. But a lot more definitely needs to be done to improve Rocket Racing in Fortnite in order to increase the player count. The same thing goes for Festival, Lego Fortnite as well. But Rocket Racing is a fun, free racing kart game in Fortnite. It just needs more customization options. Once again, more tracks, better rotation of the tracks, maybe different times a day for each track, more unlockable rewards like vehicles, decals, wheels, etc., and more content ported over from our Rocket League garages to Rocket Racing as a way to reward players that link their Epic accounts from Fortnite Rocket Racing to Rocket League. More vehicles, decals, wheels, along with additional customization options like toppers, antennas, rocket boosts, trails, the better. Thoughts, views, opinions regarding Rocket Racing, welcome, as always, below in the comments section.